Welcome back, everybody. From the third floor, we're going to start at the top and kind of go through what's been going on throughout the house. There's a lot going on, obviously. We got paint on most every surface on the first and second floor. It's basically done. There'll be touch-ups to hit, but our color's up. And things are painted and in pretty good shape here. We gotta get this stuff cleaned out and ready to sand. Floors are gonna get done next. Our situation right now is that we are waiting on electrical from the service provider. Our service provider is Eversource. You can see the color in here. It looks a little different. I wonder if that'll show up on camera, but across the way, it's kind of a deeper, moody blue, and here it's almost, it's got a greener undertone, which is kind of funny. It's the exact same color. The boys both agreed that they liked this color, which is bizarre that they'd agree on something, but it turned out great. You will notice that we painted this all out the same as the wall color. We're hoping that just kind of disappears once the panel is put on. It's just gonna get stuck on there with magnets and hold in place, and it's just access panel to all the mechanicals that I believe are all wired up and ready to go. We just need power for them. There are similar access doors in the closets, and for some reason I thought we were just gonna leave them primer white, but they went with this color instead, matching the trim color everywhere else, which is fine. It's in the closet, doesn't matter to me. And of course the doors all still have to be done. That's gonna be something that I do one door at a time in the basement. I'll just paint them out myself and put in as much time as I'm willing on, trying to get things flat and true, and also just, little wear marks like this. I'm not trying to, here, that's better seen. I'm not trying to make it perfect. I'm not gonna fill that. I'm not gonna do anything crazy like that, but there's some doors that are in worse shape than others. Again, maybe I'll patch some of these, but probably not really. I kind of like the character of it. Mostly I'm trying to get primer and paint on the raw edges so it's not going to twist the doors too badly, but they all close up really nice clean reveals all the way around. And once they're done, I'll put the hardware on so that they will latch and work as well. But we will likely be living here when that all happens. You can see that our bathroom is actually in. Fixtures are even on almost everywhere. Toilet, we did elect to do the closed side toilets, so hopefully it'll stay cleaner or easier to clean when it gets dirty. And likewise, we did the backsplash in the tile rather than using the wood in this one location. Just figured it would be, again, easier to clean up behind the toilet where it's likely to get gross. Everywhere else, we'll get the wooden backsplash baseboard, where everything else in the house will be that wooden baseboard. And in fact, I don't think we did that everywhere. I think we only did it in here because we know Will and Cole. They're gonna make a mess of things. Vanity is in. I gotta put the doors back on and get it trued up and working beautifully, but that turned out great. Fixtures are in place, sinks are in, and we'll just be hanging a mirror up here, kind of the full width of the wall. We'll leave a sliver here for that little guy there, but above these and from kind of corner to corner, or maybe we'll hold it off the wall that much to make it even over there. And we may, after the fact, come through and do a backsplash, the same tile color, because we got a bunch of extra tile there, which would bring some color onto this side of the room, which would maybe make a little more sense or something. But we'll see what that does. And out here, we've got light fixtures in some places, and you can see outlets. We're going with the black outlets like the house originally had to try to give, again, a retro feel. And all the hardware are going to be black. All the latches will be black. So it's kind of the accessory color that we're choosing. This is our stairs. So there's a lot going on here. The posts are very close to the original kind of profile of the post. This is added and decorative. It can be taken off. We may. It feels a little bit much up here especially. So I may take it off of this one and down there before I think we're gonna paint the posts. Leave the handrails natural, maybe stain or just poly them. And the floors are going to be natural as well. Now those darkened up, those are old and original. They were, I think, shelving from the pantry. And so we sanded them all down, made them into stair treads. We thought they'd fit and blend in pretty well up here. And I don't think that all of this is gonna be that dark. I wish it could get that dark, and over time it will. But yeah, I love how they turned out. It's really super cool. The rest of the floors are not gonna quite be that dark, at least initially, up here on the second and third floors. But the balusters also changed. We did the round kind of tapered baluster because it was kind of the most delicate, narrow baluster that we could get. The reality is somewhere in the middle here at about 1/2 inch, 5/8 of an inch is where the old balusters were in diameter, or they were actually square. So we couldn't find any of that size, and the smallest we could get was about 1 inch, and it was, again, almost twice as big as it would have been here. It would have been basically the same size as the base everywhere, the whole way up, and it would have been really busy and not beautiful. I thought this was more delicate and more in fitting with the house and what we were trying to do, bringing it back to something close to original, or at least the original intent here. So these do have a coat of sealer and a coat of poly. So that is why they're different, such a different color. These will darken some, but I just don't know if they'll be dark like this dark or dark like, the lighter part. I think they're gonna be like that. So these will be a little different, and that's just the way it is. That's what you get when you recycle stuff and it's, sanded to a different amount here and there, and looking at them like this, you see that we have put, it's kind of a Scotia molding, but it's just this profile, and we didn't use this square edge. We ended it at this curve, and we stuck it underneath, so it's all very similar to what we're using. It's actually the same as what we're using everywhere else in the house. In fact, we're gonna use it at the top. Again, just this section without the square. We're gonna use it at the top of our skirt board and on top of all of our baseboard when the baseboard finally goes on, because that was a match to original. Now originally it was a one-piece baseboard, and they had it all milled. We're using a 2-piece because we have a whole bunch of extra that we can just rip the square off of in 8-foot lengths, and then we have we'll be ordering more of that without the square to go in the 16-footers. So we'll just do 1x6s, 16-foot lengths all the way around, and then drop those on top, and that should hug closer to an imperfect wall once we're all said and done. But this is what the yellow turned out, just beautiful, and the sun is streaming in right now. It's afternoon, so it looks good. All the paint in here is done. Got a light fixture. These light fixtures I've been kind of disappointed with. That's not glass, it's plastic, and it doesn't stay put. And I'm gonna have to figure something out there, fiddle with it a little bit more until I'm happy. But overall, the guest room's kind of done. Needs floors and baseboard, and we're ready to move furniture in. Jack and Jill bath, plumbing on the shower end is done, ready for guests. Toilet is done, ready for guests. Now this toilet and the powder room downstairs are a little bit fancier than the other 2 toilets in the house. We opted for something that you see kind of the squared off shape of everything here. Thought it fit better with what's going on with the original fixtures, and it's a really good color match as well. So that has got new fixtures in it. We learned that lesson the last time we did a remodel and didn't replace them. They leaked constantly. We have modified the legs so that they will work the way that we want them to. And the one thing that isn't working out great is the blocking. We had blocking, but it's up too high. We had it out here, and it really needs to be where those pencil marks are. Now, small holes drilled. That's kind of the center of where those ends of the bars need to be mounted. So what I'm going to be doing is mounting a little batten board, backer board across the back. We'll glue it in place. We will screw into studs. There's a stud here, roughly, and a stud here, just on the outside of all this plumbing on either side. So we'll have it screwed in there, and then we'll glue it to the wall here and here. And then when we use this, we'll use it like a drywall anchor, kind of that ratcheting style. That'll have a clip in the back, and it'll squeeze it all together and really have a good hold of it. And really the cleat itself, that wooden cleat, will hold the bulk of the weight because it's a heavy sink. It'll have the legs in the front, the cleat in the back, plus brackets. So I think you can see, yeah, there's some metal brackets back here and there. That'll hold it all in place. And then I'll feel good about my 5-year-old interacting with this sink and it staying on the wall. I'm excited now because we're pretty close. I think I can probably put the bulbs and shades on that. It's got a cool retro feel to it as well. Yeah, and Ollie's room is in the same state really as the guest room, ready for baseboard after they finish the floors, and then we're ready to move in. Liz's office got just the generic gray color on the walls. For now, she might choose to change a color, or at least kind of, this is her backdrop. Her desk is gonna go here, and so people will kind of see this wall. She'll have to do something interesting. You know, floating shelving or some color on the wall there. But it's a nice kind of neutral, soothing color. We're really happy with it. It's a gray, there's no doubt about it, but it's warm. And at the same time, it's not beige. So it's that kind of striking medium between boring beige, stark white, and cold gray. And you know, I'm most pleased with this color, and we're using it a lot. So I'm happy that it turned out nice. You can see the staircase here. We never had a post in the middle here, and they all went to the floor originally like this as well. Now, that board is getting picked up. These spindles were ordered the wrong size. I would swear that I was told to order this size, and the person who was doing the installation said that I ordered the wrong size. Regardless, we got the right size. It's coming. It's in the mail currently. It should be here next week. So at that point, they'll come back, glue all these down. They'll be the right size, and then we're off to the races. It's all finished underneath, so we don't have to worry about it. You can even see a little bit of the finish underneath it. So these will just pop up. There are screws under the end ones, and I think on this location they avoided it and for some reason went on the arrows, but that's where we'll unscrew it and the whole thing will pop out, and they'll put the right spindles. But it'll look just like this, except the spindles go right straight to the floor, just like it's doing here. Really clean. I'm really pleased with how these all came together. It's a clean look. Need some, you know, finish paint and stuff on the stairs. But yeah, really pleased with how this is all gonna look when it's all said and done. Not much going on in here. Paint on the walls, again, it's just this gray. We think we're gonna end up changing this color for this room. It's just a little too boring, especially once we get into the master bath, which is kind of outstanding. So we're close in here. These are 2 light fixtures. I don't know if there's a picture on the side. Oh, there is. So those are the light fixtures we're doing. It's a Mitzi, kind of a nicer brand, and kind of a retro feel to it, but maybe a new take on a retro feel. So we'll have triple light above this one, triple light above that. That's where they need to get drilled out, and nobody wants to drill through this tile. So we also need to move this over like 1 box width and replace this tile and that tile. So when the tile guy comes back to do downstairs, I think I'll have him up here doing a couple of things to wrap this up too. Toilets in, we got the same one as the boys upstairs. It's really the only difference between this one and the one that you saw in the Jack and Jill are the aesthetics. These are cleaner, and this one was like $100 cheaper. So we used it where it didn't matter too much. But you can see it's kind of narrow, which gives us lots of space for like trash can or I don't know what else you put in a room like this. I guess a little table here, maybe a magazine, I don't know. But this is the piece de resistance. It's officially in, everything's plumbed, real clean looking. Baseboard needs to go in, obviously. But yeah, this is a soaker. It's nice and long. I can lie down on this comfortably, and it looks great. So we'll have like a big plant or something into the corner here to take up some height, or maybe a small table with something on top. Either way, it's going to be fantastic. And then this is in a state of flux. We got a situation that we didn't realize until we really unpacked everything, and we're missing a part on this valve. It's a diverter valve. It's supposed to have a little handle underneath here. Typically that would go to divert to the tub. There's no tub here, but we're using it to divert to the hand shower. That's going to go in. It's all right here. They just haven't installed it yet. With that diverter, we got the correct, what they call this, shower arm and shower head. And we got an issue with the tile here and here. So that tile, we may actually back this off and redo the tile when the tile guy is in here. And we probably will run into the same thing. You see how low it is here and here compared to it being right up against it. It should really be right up against it here. So we may not get away with it in either location and have to recut that tile there and there. These parts, though, are supposed to match. We don't have them for both locations. So we had to source those as well. So we're getting a replacement part there and a new set of parts here. All of that should be in next week. And then this bathroom is done. Now, from across the way, you'd never notice, but the faucets there don't match exactly the design of what we're using here. And that is because when we installed this, it was going to interfere. When we opened our medicine cabinet, it was gonna not be able to open. And that clearly would be a problem. So we replaced them. They're very similar. I think they match. Everything is chrome, but technically that's different than that, which is different than that. Nothing in the space actually is the exact same line. They're all Simmons products, but that version of everything else we didn't like at all, but this was all that was offered for the freestanding tub like this. And then we picked these two to match, and then that one didn't work, and then we had to return them. So it's been an adventure, but ultimately it's going to work out. It's going to work itself out, and it looks good. So that's what matters in the end. I think they did a nice job of, caulking in here. We got to do some cleaning, but that kind of closes that up. We don't have any dark lines, so they don't have to touch up paint there. Same thing down there. And actually they didn't caulk up there, so they may have to just touch that. We'll see. But they did clean up the ceilings, and it looks like they were successful. We got rid of all that junk on the ceiling, so no harm, no foul there. Everything's looking pretty good. So again, maybe 80% done in here between the little bits and pieces here and the lighting, but very close. And that takes us through the second floor. I think I'm gonna break the first floor into a separate video here. And we'll see you in the next one.